Hey everyone, I'm Sison, and today we're taking a look at Samyang's 85mm F1.2 XP lens. So today we're taking a look at Samyang's 85mm F1.2 XP lens. If you haven't already seen it, I actually took a look at Samyang's widest lens that they offer, which is a 10mm f3.5 in this range. And there are 3 more lenses in between. So I actually went from the widest to the most telephoto, which is the 85mm. They do tout these lenses to resolve more than 50 megapixels. And of course, if you are filming, can go up to 8K video as well. So these are going to be future-proof for whatever camera that comes out later on. Now these lenses are manual focus only, and for this particular lens only comes in the Canon EF mount, but lucky me, I have been using my A7 III with it as well by an adapter. So if you have an adapter and a mirrorless body and want to use this lens, then all you need to do is just get an adapter and you're able to mount it onto your camera. Now, not only that, the added benefit of using it on my A7 III is that I do have stabilization built in. There is none built into the lens, it's into the body, so all I need to do is manually set that up as well. I am using a Sigma MC11 adapter, so XF data is coming through too. Now, before we go look at what this lens can produce in terms of image quality, let's take a look at the design and the handling of the lens itself. The Samyang 85mm F1.2 XP has a solid build with high quality plastics and metal. There's quite a bit of heft to it, weighing in at 1050 grams, so this isn't going to be a light lens to carry around with you. And for me, pairing it with my Sigma MC11, it's going to add a couple extra 100 grams. It has a rubber focus ring and accepts 86mm filters, so if you intend to attach one, be prepared to pay more than your conventional size filters. I would probably recommend getting one as well, because when you do change focus with this lens, the front element will go in and out, which could potentially suck in dust and debris. Like I said, it is manual focus only, so make sure you take your time to use this lens to make sure what you are shooting is actually in focus, especially if you intend to shoot this wide open at f1.2, because the depth of field will be extremely shallow. Speaking of the f1.2 aperture, this may be an issue with my adapter with my A7 III, because it only shows f1.3, so if you're using this lens and are using a different adapter to what I am using, let me know if you're able to solve this issue. There are no weather seals with this lens, but there are electronic contacts, so I am at least able to get my XF data when I shoot with this lens. There is quite a bit of a focus throw when using the manual focus ring, where the minimum focusing distance is 80 centimeters. There's also a bit of resistance when using it, but I can sort of understand why there is at this focal length if you want to be precise with your focusing. There is a plastic barrel type lens hood, which is also supplied with this lens to block out any flare from the sun and other light sources. When it comes down to image quality, this is where the lens shines and earns its XP badge. This lens is extremely sharp, especially in the centers, and when it comes to the edges, still retains a decent amount of sharpness. When stopped down to about f4, sharpness is consistent throughout the frame. I even used this for a bit of shooting in the city, which was quite impressive. There was a fair amount of contrast and decent colors coming out of this lens, and the f1.3 aperture gave some buttery smooth bokeh and of course helped when shooting in low light situations. Chromatic aberrations were very much non-existent, but a little bit apparent in high contrast situations from what I've seen with this lens, but there was a tiny bit of pincushion distortion, which is not very noticeable unless you were trying to look for it in the first place. All in all, I had a pleasure shooting with this lens, and when it came down to using it for video, while I don't have an 8K cinema camera, I do have 4K, I did get some very nice footage coming out of it. Now the Samyang 85mm F1.2 XP is a lens that definitely deserves some recognition, especially when you look at it and you have it in your hand. It does feel like you are holding a premium lens, and not only is its build quality amazing, the actual images that you get out of it are amazing as well. You do get a lot of clarity out of it, some contrast, and it is extremely sharp, especially wide open. Stopping it down to maybe f4 would give you the best quality if you wanted it sharp edge to edge. While it is only available in the Canon EF mount, if you have an adapter and are using a mirrorless camera like I am, then you really wouldn't have any issues, other than the fact that the adapter that I'm using is only allowing me to go to f1.3. Now, in terms of focusing, it was fairly easy, although you do have to take your time with it. It's not a lens that you can rush around with things and just go happy snap and shooting everything you want. So you really do need to take your time with it. What else can I say? I do love this lens. The filter thread is a bit large, so if you do intend to use filters, which I sort of recommend that you do, because the front element does collapse in and go out every time you focus in and out. It could be a bit of an issue and in terms of sucking dust, and because it is not weather resistant, you sort of need to be careful with it, especially if you're shooting in more adverse conditions. But other than that, that's about it from me. So if you have any more questions about this lens, please feel free to leave a comment down below. And if you already own one, let me know what you think of it. And remember to like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe to my channel for more Samyang lens reviews and tutorials. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram for more sample photos and photo updates. And don't forget to take a look in the description down below for more information about this lens, as well as affiliate links that do help support the channel and future projects. Now until then, happy shooting and thanks for watching.